Hey everyone, welcome to Modern Explorer, and I have a little story for you. Well, two to be exact, and I guess I kind of want your input, or know if you've had anything like this or seen anything like the account's about to tell you right now. So this isn't anything super crazy like Sasquatch or anything like that, but it is, I would say, in the realm of cryptids. And that is something like, I don't know, a black panther, but up here in Colorado in a place called Manitou Springs. Now, the first time I heard about this, and I would have totally dismissed it had I not heard about it twice in the same area, was I used to give Jeep tours around Colorado Springs. And I picked up this one family that had been there. You know, they came in from out of state and they were exploring all the sites, like Garden of the Gods, you name it. And Manitou Springs is a super important one that a lot of tourists like to go explore, right? They like to go there because you can go up the Colorado Railway, up to Pikes Peak. You can go over there for the Manitou Incline. You know, there's this cool little like town just right there at the beginning of Ute Pass. So I was giving them the Jeep tour, telling them stuff, you know, explaining the history, and then they told me a really interesting account. They said that the day before, they were in Manitou Springs walking around, and they looked up close to like where they were near like the edge of the forest, and they described seeing this large black cat as big as a mountain lion. And I thought they were messing with me, right? Because we have cougars here, but we don't have any reports of anything like a black panther or anything, you know, like beyond other well-known cats, right? Like a bobcat. Lynx are a lot more rare to find here, but you do come across them, and a lot of mountain lions. And so I laughed, and then they got offended because they were like, no, we're not kidding, like we saw this. And then they continued to tell me some of the strange variations in these features. Okay, so the way they described this was that the cat wasn't just like it was the size of a mountain lion, so it's huge, right? Maybe like 150 pounds or so. But they said like the snout wasn't wide the way like you normally see like a lion snout, right? Like a mountain lion snout. It was more pointed, and kind of like the whole mouth and nose kind of came in the way you would expect to see a regular house cat, right? Had a long tail just like a mountain lion, and it was jet black. And they didn't know what it was. You know what? I don't know what it is, because you know, like it's one thing to be like, hey, that's a mountain lion. Maybe it's just had some type of genetic mutation, but by the fact that it has like a much stranger, you know, face, more like a house cat, you know, makes me suspicious. Like, well, what do you think that is, right? So I kind of like just put it like on the back burner, and you know, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I'm curious. But they are from out of state, so maybe they misplaced something. Maybe they saw something different, you know?
You will subscribe, sign up for notifications, and comment.
Then a couple years later, at a place I was renting out at, one of my roommates, the guy she was dating at the time, told me a very similar story that happened to him like a couple of years ago. And he told me how he was up by the Midland Railway, which is this old railway that used to go all the way up to Cripple Creek that you can now like hike on if you know how to go out there. And he was up there with his friends, and him and his friends saw this large black cat as big as a mountain lion, but jet black. Like, they didn't go in the same amount of detail as the family had, but the fact that they're seeing it, and I think within like a year or so of one another, kind of, you know, makes me kind of like intrigued, right? Like, what? That's two people, right? Or sorry, like technically that's more like 8 people, 2 separate events, okay, in the same area, because the Midland Railway is right next to Manitou Springs. That's where it starts. So what are we looking at here? And I guess this is more like to inform you that this is being seen, spotted, and if those two groups have seen it, I'm sure there's a lot more. Okay, and that's kind of like what I'm here for, to see if we can get more information about it. Like, who else has seen this, or does anyone know what we're looking at? Like, did some hybrid like cat escape up here in Colorado? By Pikes Peak. Is this some mutation, some known like occurrence? Are there black panthers up this high? What kind of explains the strange shape of its face and mouth? Like what does that mean, right? Does that mean like it's a hybrid between a cat and a mountain lion? Like, is that even possible? So I guess this is kind of like just like throwing it out there, letting you know the story. Again, like, it's not as crazy as when we talk about like Sasquatch or other types of cryptids that are harder to believe. I mean, this is more believable. We've run into those before, but it's still really unusual. And the fact that it came into like those stories came to me directly on two separate occasions, I think it's just insane. So if those people that I know that I ran into have seen it, then there's probably a lot more people that have seen this huge cat out there, and I want to know what it is. So if you guys have any idea, let me know. If you've heard like stories about these big cats before that have like this kind of unique description, like with that kind of like face morphology, let me know. And yeah, I'll let you know if I get any more updates. I'll make like a new video about this based on the information I get. I'm hoping in the comments someone knows what this cat is or seen it, and we can get to the bottom of this mystery. Okay, so large black cats as large as a mountain lion hanging out around in the forest around Manitou Springs, Colorado. Okay, so let me know if you've seen it. Of course, share this, ask. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's figure out what this big cat is that's just lurking around Manitou Springs. I mean, Manitou Springs is a weird place, right? Like, it's one of like the occult centers probably of the world. Modern day Wicca is practiced there. You see all kinds of weird ritual sites. I'm not saying they're linked, but it is like the perfect place for a strange 150-pound cat to be lurking around. Okay, so thanks for watching. Give me some feedback, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. I need you guys to help me with this. Like, share, subscribe, you name it. Let's get this around. Thanks, guys. Till next time.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.